Good morning and welcome to Friday's lessons. Okay, a massive well done for your learning this week, okay? I know it's a little bit strange, you're doing it from home, most of you. Some of you are in school, but we're all doing the exact same work, okay? And I know it's really tricky returning back to school after any half term, after being away from school, but you're doing amazingly, okay? It's all a bit strange, we know, but you are doing a great job and we just wanted you to know that. Give yourself a final push today. It's Friday, you can do it. Okay, and let's start off by writing our skill and our date and underlining it neatly. Okay, and then push pause, give yourself a chance to do that, and then come back to us when you're ready for your arithmetic. Great job. So today's arithmetic then. For your bronze challenge, you've got your 12 times tables. Now I know some of you still find these ones a little bit tricky. Okay, but practice makes perfect, so keep going with those. Your silver challenge, you have got some partitioning of numbers, which I know some of you find quite easy now, which is great. And then you've got the gold challenge, which is your squared numbers. Now I really don't want to see anybody writing 4 squared is 8, because so many of you at the end, just before Christmas, but still writing that 4 times 2 is 8, which it is, but 4 squared is not 4 times 2. Okay, it is 4 times by itself, so it's 4 times 4. So make sure you're remembering that. Okay, so pause the video, give yourself a chance to complete your arithmetic, and then come back when you're ready for the answers. So here are your answers, okay? Have a read through, give yourself a tick for all the ones that you've got correct. Okay, if you've made any mistakes, then not to worry, just make sure you know where you made your mistakes. You might want to go back and have another go if you made some mistakes to see where you went wrong. It's always a good thing to do. Okay, well done. Okay, so today we're going to draw a line graph. So let's have a look. So this table shows the average amount of rainfall in Hawkinge over a year. Let's complete the graph together. So we can see our data is written in this table here, and we've got the months and we've got the rainfall in millimetres. Okay, so for instance, February had 40 millimetres of rainfall, July had 58 millimetres. So we're going to plot this data on our graph. So the months and the table here correspond to the x-axis and the rainfall corresponds to the y-axis. So we need to plot the data. Now it's important that the data is plotted on the vertical lines, okay, and not in between, because if we're plotting here, we don't know if it's January or February. Okay, we need to make sure we're on the lines for the correct month. Otherwise the data will be inaccurate. So let's start off with January then. So we're going to start with January, okay, and then we're going to go up to 54 because it's 54 millimetres. Now we know that's around 55 millimetres there, so we're going to go just underneath that to 54 millimetres. February has 40 millimetres, that's going to be about here because we've got February at the bottom and we've got 40 across. There. We've got March has got 38, so it's going to be just below the 40. April's the same. May's got 48. June's got 46. July 58. August 60. September 50. October 57. November's got lots of rain, 65 millimetres. And then back down to 50 in December. Okay, so the line graphs that you've seen so far haven't just got dots on, they've got lines on. So we need to connect the lines, the data neatly with a ruler. Okay, so we're going to start and go between January and February. So we're going to draw a nice straight line between the dots. It's a bit like dot to dot. And we're going to go from February to March, then March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to October, October to November, and finally November to December. Okay, so now we can see our line graph. Okay, this is what you're more used to seeing. Okay, so it's got a line, and it makes it easier for us to see the data. So we can see straight away that November has got the highest rainfall. Okay. How could we make this line graph even more accurate though? Talk to somebody around you or talk to your partner. Okay, how do you think we could make this data more accurate? Because we can't change this data here, because in January there was 54 millimetres of rain. So it's not possible for us to change it and say, oh, let's say 55 because it's easier. Well, let's change this one to 40 because that's easier. We can't do that. We can't change this data, but we can change something about our graph to make it easier and more accurate. Okay, if you want more time, then pause the video whilst you have a chat or have a think with somebody at home. Okay, and then we're going to move on. So it could, and it would be easier to plot the points if there were smaller intervals on the y-axis. Okay, so currently we can see they're in jumps of 10. So if they're in jumps of 5 instead, if this was a 5, or even in ones, it would be easier to read. However, if we were plotting in ones, we'd need a lot of lines, wouldn't we? So 5s, I think, would be the most appropriate. It'd make the data easier to plot and be more accurate for us to read. Okay, quick partner challenge then. Now that your line graph is complete, take turns with the person next to you to think of and ask each other questions about the data presented. Okay, if you're at home and there's nobody to talk to at the moment, you could perhaps write the questions down in your catch-up books. Okay. Have a real good think about what questions you could ask. If you wanted to ask someone, or say you wanted to do a line chart and this was the one you'd done, and you asked Mrs. Coleman some questions about it for me to answer, what would you answer? What would you ask? So my first question would be, how much rainfall was there in November? Okay. Or which month had the most rainfall? You can ask any questions you like that we can find the answer from the data. So pause the video, have a chat or have a think, jot them down, and then come back to me when you're ready. Okay, great job. I think you would have asked some really great questions there and hopefully written some down. Okay, is there anything else missing from this line graph though? Have we got all the information that we need? It hasn't got a title, has it? Okay, so can you think of a suitable title? If you can, excellent. It's not too difficult to think of a title for this one because we know that the months of the year at the bottom, and we know that it's showing the rainfall in the months of the year. So a nice simple title would be Rainfall in Hawkinge over a year, or Yearly Rainfall in Hawkinge. Okay, so it's just given the reader something that they can instantly see what the title is and what the chart is showing, what the line graph shows. Okay, what about this one then? So the table and the line graph below show the distance that Emma ran in a race. What could we do to help us find the data to complete the table? Now we can see here we've got the table, but it's got some information missing, and the graph has also got some information missing. So we've got here at the bottom on our x-axis, we've got the time in seconds, and then we've got the distance in metres. We know that in 5 seconds, Emma ran 10 metres. In 10 seconds, she ran 20 metres. Now I already know that people are thinking, this is so easy, it just doubles each time. Now, you would think that, wouldn't you? Because the first two definitely do. But if we get to 25 seconds, 46 isn't double 25, and 55 isn't double 30, so that's not quite right. What else could it be? How could you find out? Okay, what we can do, and what our ruler is going to come in really helpful for here, is we can draw a line between this blue dot and this blue dot, like this. Then once we have our line drawn to connect the two dots, we can then look at where it says 15 seconds, where we had the empty space, use our ruler to go up and then across to see what the distance, how many meters that Emma ran. Okay, so we know it's approximately 28 meters. And then we'll do the same for 20 seconds. So we'll go up to 20, okay, and then we'll go across, and we can see it's approximately 37. If you had a ruler, unlike Mrs. Coleman, whose mouse goes all wiggly, if you had a ruler, you'd be able to see it's around 37 meters. Okay, so if you've ever got any missing information on a line graph, if you just connect the dots, and then you'll be able to use your ruler to see the approximate data points. Okay, let's do one together then. So, Mrs. Stone put a box of Quality Street in the staff room. The table below shows how many chocolates were in the box during the day. So we can see that at the time it's on the top, and then the sweets in the staff room on the bottom. So at 8 a.m. there were 50 sweets in the staff room. By 10 a.m. there was 45. By 12 noon there were 35. 2 p.m. there were 20. By 4 p.m. there were 10. And by 6 p.m. there was only 5 left. Now this is not a true representation of the staff room because they would have been all gone by 10 a.m. Okay, so which data should go along the x-axis? Okay, so if we were going to draw this on a line graph, what would we put along the x-axis? Okay, have a talk to your partner, or have a think if you're at home. What data will go along the bottom? Okay. Pause the video as and when you need to, if you need more time to think. So the time should go along the x-axis, okay? Because that is the constant, it's 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, okay? So that's a set pattern of every 2 hours. So looking at the data, what would be the most suitable scale to use for the y-axis? So if we know the time's going to go along the x-axis, we can see that the sweets will go on the y-axis. Okay. The most suitable scale to use would be going up in 5s, because we can see that all of the sweets in the staff room are a multiple of multiples of 5. Okay, so if we go up in 5s, we know that one's going to go on each dot and each line when we plot it. That'd be a great scale to use. Okay, so let's draw and complete this line graph together. So you need to make sure you've got enough room in your book and that you use a ruler to draw the axes. Okay, so if you're at home, you can do this in your catch-up books. So make sure you've got a ruler and a pencil. If you're in school, you'll be doing the same thing. So you need to make sure you're drawing a nice clear line. Okay, pause the video if you need to. Okay, so once you've done that, you can then write your time along the bottom. So I would start with your 8 o'clock. And because they're going up in 2 hours, you might want to leave a gap between each one. So 8 a.m, 10 a.m, 12 a.m, 2 p.m, 4 p.m, 6 p.m. Okay. And then along the side, you're going to look at your lowest one, which was 5. So, okay, so if we start at 0 on this line, and then we do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, so we've got 50 sweets. You might want to leave 1 square or you might want to leave 2. It's completely up to you, whatever will be easiest for you. Okay, don't forget to label your axes. Okay, so along the bottom we're going to have time, and at the side we're going to have sweets or amount of sweets, and don't forget to give it a title. You're then going to plot the dots and join them up with a line. Okay, then your line graph is complete. So well done. Pause the video if you need more time, and obviously go back if you need further help. Okay, if you're in school, you'll be able to ask whoever's there with you, okay, to pause the video for you and to go back. Okay, excellent job. I think you've been working really, really hard today. If you want a little bit more practice, you have got some practice questions on the resources for you. Okay, there's 3 different colours. I think the blue one is a cool. Then you've got the red, I think it is, which is the mild, and then the golden one, which is the spicy. Okay, so have a go, see how we get on. In actual fact, I think I've got the wrong way around. I think it's red and then blue and then yellow. It goes in order, so you'll see. Okay, so have a go if you'd like to, and I'm sure you'll do amazingly. So you can stick them into your books, and you can use a pencil to plot the data, and you can draw on those as well. Okay, excellent. Come back for the final thought when you're ready. Okay, so final thought. Part of this line graph is missing. It should show 10 minutes of the car race. If the graph continues in the same way, when will it reach an average speed of 30 miles an hour? Okay, so you're going to need to use your ruler, okay, and see if you can get to 30 miles an hour. See if you're going up in a straight line. It gets to 30 at about here. How many minutes? Okay, so you're doing it because it's showing 10 minutes. So you're going to draw your line right up to 10, and then you'll be able to find where it stops at 8. Okay, well done, guys. You've worked really, really hard this week, and we're really proud. Have a lovely, it was your final maths lesson, but I'll be back for English and Jigsaw this afternoon. See you later.